Today I'm going to take a look at a kind of lock that I've never explored before on this channel, and this is a slider lock, or also known as an inner groove lock. And these are commonly found on car door locks, but it's quite uncommon to find them in things such as bicycle locks and padlocks. Well, Boris from the UK Lock Sports forum very kindly lent me this one, which he purchased, and it's an on guard, and as you can see it's a bicycle lock. And here's the packaging. It's the On Guard 8029 Doberman coil cable lock, and it's got a security rating of 35 out of 100 according to On Guard, which probably isn't too inaccurate. And we also get a bag of brackets. Obviously this is for your bicycle, and we also get some keys. The lockpicking lawyer has been taking a look at a few of these On Guard locks, and so I was very pleased to get one of these for myself. Now, if we look down the keyway, you'll notice that we haven't actually got any pins in this keyway. In fact, we do have some pins that stick down. I say there's no pins. They're kind of pins. They're not like a normal pin tumbler lock. You'll see there's one down here. There's also one up here. And there's a row of these sliders. Those are the sliders in there. And if we look at the key, you can see we've got this snake-shaped groove cut in the key, which is a telltale sign that you have an inner groove mechanism lock. So if your car key, for example, looks like that, then there's a big chance that you've got inner groove mechanism lock. Now, you can find inner groove mechanisms on higher security locks, especially dimple locks, where they've got enough room to sort of add an extra feature, and an example of that would be the Yale Superior. So, today I'm going to explore the inner groove mechanism, and hopefully we'll also talk about how to pick it. So, inside the lock there are a series of sliders, and these sliders are sort of built into the top of the core, and I've drawn a little picture here of them, and you have to use your imagination. But this is a slider in the locked position. We have a spring which pushes it into a zero position basically, and when you insert the key will engage with this little nub that sticks down, and that's a little pin that we see in the keyway. And when you've inserted the key fully, the slider this pin will be pushed by just the right amount, and there's a sidebar that will drop down once all the sliders have lined up. And here's a diagram of the slider when it's lined up, and there's a sidebar there which can drop down. So it's a pretty simple mechanism. How do we pick it? Well, we have to manipulate the sliders themselves, and all we have to do is basically shove those pins over and manipulate them whilst applying tension to the core, which in itself is a bit of a challenge, because if we look at this keyway, it's really wide open. So let me get set up and I'll show you how we're going to attack this lock. So as you can see, when I insert the key into the lock like so, we've got a really strong spring tension, and then the lock opens like so. So, how do we tension this lock? A normal tension wrench just spins around, and if you use a massive tension wrench, which I have here, it stops you from getting good access to those little sliders there. So I've found that a good way to tension this lock is by creating your own square-headed tension wrench by using multiple tension wrenches like so. Now it does get in the way just a little bit, but that's something you have to just deal with. And you can see our little sliders in here. What you do is you just take a broken pick, then you shove them down, just manipulate them. You will find that some of them bind and others of them don't bind so much. You just pick it like a normal lock. Now, I doubt very much that I'm going to get it in this go because I'm in a very uncomfortable position. So let me get set up for picking and I'll come back. Okay, so I am terribly sorry that you don't have a particularly good view. However, there's nothing much I can do about that. So I'm just going to dive in and attempt to pick the lock. So I set slider 1 and 3 on this side, there's 3 on each side, and I now dive in and set the other 2 in theory, like so. Okay, and we are open. So it's pretty simple even with a 6 slider lock, but I have been practicing on this, so I probably find it a bit easier than I would if I were attacking it for the first time. And just to show again that it does definitely work, there you go. So there is the inner groove / slider mechanism explained, and Boris was kind enough to send a few locks which I've been picking over the past month, and he also sent this one. It's a Rolson, and this has a slightly different kind of inner groove mechanism lock which I'm going to explore in my next video. So thanks very much for watching, and thanks very much Boris for lending me this lock, and I will see you all in my next video.